Hey, what's up turtles? It's Krik here with Black Owl Outdoors. Today I'm going to be doing a video on the LT Wright Genesis knife. So here's the knife. Some of the specs of the knife are: overall length is 9 inches, sharpened blade length is 4 1/4. It's made of A2 tool steel, features a Scandi grind, polished to a mirror, to a 0-degree edge, meaning there's only one bevel on this knife. Has a sharpened spine to throw ferro rod, sparks, to help shave tinder. Thumb scallops on each side of the knife. My finger's touching right here. There's actual depression for your thumb to go. Very comfortable and a super nice handhold. The scales are green micarta, and I'm a huge fan of micarta. And there's a lanyard hold down here. And the bottom of the knife down here is rounded. It's very, very comfortable as it touches the hand. You can see the sort of handle length as it's sitting in my hand. Nice, maybe about 1 inch at its farthest coming out of my hand. And it's a super, super, super comfortable handle. I really, really just like the shape, the design, the look of this knife, and the comfort. So in addition to the knife, you get a nice leather sheath, friction style. Only about 1.5 inches of the handle sticking out, so it's buried pretty well. You see the very, very, very clean stitching. 2 eyelets down here. I'm going to call them eyelets so you can help attach this to your leg if you're using the Dangler option. The welt's nice and clean, rounded a little bit here on the edges. You can see the welt. I'm going to guess this is probably about 6 or 7 ounce leather, thickness, weight-wise. Fire steel loop over here on this side of the welt, and this is large enough to accommodate the 3-inch size in diameter fire steel. Now personally, if there's going to be a loop, fire steel loop on a sheath, I'd prefer it to be a little bit larger to fit the larger size diameter of fire steel. That way, this is going to be held in with the bungee. Friction is not really the force that's going to keep this in. So even if you do put a thinner fire steel in the larger size fire steel loop, you can still carry either or, but with this size, I can only carry the smaller one. This is a Dangler option. This is a removable Dangler. As you can see here, potentially, there's a space for, right here, there's a space for a flathead screwdriver, so you can actually remove this whole leather piece. The D-ring will stay attached, but then that way you can actually thread your belt through here, sit a little bit lower on your hip, but not ride too high to poke into your hip. That's a nice feature. I really like the fact that you can use it with a belt, won't sit too high, or you can have it dangling. And for the price of the whole package, $175 for the knife and the sheath, it's a quality sheath. I'm not gonna lie, it's a quality sheath. It's really clean. Now there could be a little bit more finishing touches on it, some burnished edges. It's not beveled on the edges at all. It's not beveled, burnished. But the more you touch a surface, the multiple times you go over something, it's just going to increase the amount of time it takes, increase the price. With all that being said, super, super happy with the way the sheath was designed, built, excellent retention. Really, really happy with it. Now I'm going to use the knife, go through some tasks that I would see myself using this knife and I have used it for, and talk about my impressions and what I like about the knife. So I'm going to do some batoning first. This is sort of, the in-between cutting edge of my cutting toolkit, if you will, my bushcrafting toolkit. This is like the all-around sort of knife. I'm going to have a smaller, I'm going to carry more for really, really, detailed and or extended carving tasks, and something larger to swing. So this is right in the middle of all of that. But nonetheless, this should be able to baton. This fixed blade, sort of around the 4 or 5 inch blade length, should be able to baton. Not something I'm going to do with it all the time. It's not meant to do that, but the quality of the knife should lend itself to be able to do that. Kind of got caught in a knot right there. Checking the edge for any damage, any roll, any chips. So as you saw, when I got toward the end of that piece of wood, I sort of got hung up on there's a knot buried that I didn't see initially. I kind of put some force through it, so I'm just checking the edge right now. No rolling, no chips, no dings, anything like that. And that's just a testament to, you know, the A2 steel and just the quality of the knife. And I will cut some paper with this. I'm going to baton some more, and I will show it cutting some paper then. See how the edge holds up. Just to see how, you know, the knife is holding its edge. Putting no force into that at all. And you're not going to get that really curl and twist like that on this paper unless the knife is sharp and it's holding a clean edge. Going the length of the blade to see if there's any hiccups, any part where it wants to tear. Not seeing that at all. Now I'm going to do some feather sticking, which will sort of give me a good idea of how well I can control the knife, how comfortable it is, a really smooth action and clean cut. Now I have used this knife multiple times before I've done this video, and just to upkeep with the edge, so I've just taken it on the strop just to keep my edge nice. There's no really need to sharpen a knife with a stone, bench stone, if you don't have any damage on it. Just completely touch it up with a strop. You know, I'll do that pretty much every time. Each day I'm done using a knife, I will pass it on my strop with some compound just to keep the edge really nice. And that way, as time goes on, I don't have to potentially, you know, put it on a stone where you can mess up the bevel if you're not the best at sharpening a knife. So I really like to keep my knives sharp, keep them maintained after every use. Every day I'm come back in from the field. And so far this is performing really well. I really like the control. I'm getting really nice thin, really nice big curves, or curls, excuse me, which is a sign of knife control and technique as you're getting the curl to roll over on itself. I think Moores said, you know, 4 times is a really good estimate of your skill. And obviously the wood, all that condition of the wood, the type of wood, sharpness of the knife is going to come into play of how well you're going to get feather sticks, fuzz sticks, curls, all of that. But really happy with this. This poplar is really not the best wood for doing certain types of carving, if you will. But nonetheless, this knife is doing really well. I really like the control of it. Super comfortable in my hand, like I said before. I've used this to go on with some chewing to birch for a while, and no hot spots whatsoever. This may actually take a spark. We'll see about that in a second. I'm not sure if this will. Ideally, if I was going to try to catch some curls on fire, I'd get really small thin ones, place them. These might be a little bit too big, but I have some other tinder if this doesn't catch. Just play around with throwing some sparks. Sheath the knife, leave that there. And this is Tulip poplar bark. I use this a lot for fire starting. It's really prevalent in these forests I'm in Pennsylvania. And when it's really dry, you really don't have to break this stuff up too much for it to take a spark. And it's not really a flash tinder because it will hold a flame, but it's not going to hold the strongest flame, if that makes sense. You'll get like a really weak flame with this, so what you can do is sort of impregnate it a little bit with some better material. some scrap leather someone gave me, just made a small little pouch for it, or a pouch out of it, hold whatever. I think this is some river birch bark. Actually, let's practice safety. Clear just a little bit of space. The thumb scalp is really nice when I'm using this. Put my thumb right here, nice control of the knife. Some of that birch to catch. Sheath my knife, never want to leave that out. Now that birch is holding this flame a lot better than if it wasn't there. And obviously this fuzz stick, feather stick I just made, place that on top and get a nice fire going. I'm not going to, just to practice, demonstrate. Always want to be safe, practice safety in the forest, be really responsible with what you're doing. Put some water on here, and I am going to stir it then, but and because it is a small knife, you know, a 4¼ blade, it's not really going to be anything you want to chop, but because it is comfortable down here, if you needed to, you could swing the knife a little bit just to remove some material. Little knot down there. See, I got caught on that knot and I did just try to push through it. That's how you can roll an edge really easy. If you hit resistance, there's a point where you want to put some force into it. Maybe you need to go through it, but if you feel it, you don't just want to push through it. That's how you can roll an edge really easy. So what I'm going to do is just go at the knot a little bit more deliberate, not try to just push through it all at once, and just work around it then. And I'm doing this just to show you, just using the knife, just taking off, you know, a lot of stock if I wanted. So it's hot out here and it's humid, and if you're going to be holding a knife that long, my hand's going to sweat. And the great thing about these Micarta scales, as a little bit of moisture gets to it, they feel like they just get better. So all around, just super, super happy with this knife. Like I said, it's just really going to be like in the middle of my cutting edges, you know, the tools I'm going to carry for bushcraft and in my kit. This isn't a quote survival knife. Yeah, it can be used for your survival, everything involved like that. But this is going to be part of a kit that I'm going to be carrying multiple cutting edges. So I really just want to thank LT for sending this knife. I actually contacted him and asked if he'd be interested in sending me the Genesis, because I'm looking for a knife this size, this style, to be my all-around knife in my bushcrafting kit, like I mentioned earlier in the video. So I want to thank LT again. Really pleased with the product it's putting out at this price point, $175. This is a knife that's meant to be used. Just really, really happy with the comfort and the way this has been performing so far for me. So again, thanks LT. Go check out their website, check out all the new stuff they're doing. Really want to help promote, you know, promote the knives made in America. These are made in Ohio, state right next to us. Hope this video was helpful, shine some light on this new product. Any questions about what I went over, any questions about the knife, please let me know, leave a comment. Remember to check out blackoutdoors.com. This is Krik signing out with Black Outdoors. Later, turtles.